A lot of questions come up around the subject of delegation, and probably the two most pertinent questions are what things are okay for me to delegate, and when is it appropriate for me to delegate them. And so the answer to the first question, pretty short and simple. What can I delegate? What should I delegate? The answer is everything. Everything. If one of your responsibilities is directing the effort of other people, you want to delegate everything you possibly can. Every time you come into work, you should basically be working yourself out of a job. If you're filling out a report, you should be asking yourself, who could be filling this out for me? Who could I delegate this to? Or who could I develop to be able to delegate this to? If you're working up your forecast or your plan for next quarter or next year, same question. Who else could be doing that? Who could you delegate it to? Who could you be developing so that you could delegate it to them? You got a staff meeting? Guess what? You shouldn't be going to the staff meeting. You should be sending one of your teammates to go to your staff meeting for you, especially if you have great news to deliver. Never deliver great news yourself. Always assign a teammate to go give that great news away. You take the crappy news, give them the good news. So the answer, short and simple, you want to delegate everything you can. But that brings up the question then, when is it appropriate to delegate those things? And to answer that question, you really got to kind of look at what's the difference between the different ways of directing efforts of other people. So the first way to direct other people's efforts would be specific direction. That's I'm telling you what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And the reason we most commonly do that is because either we've got somebody who's new to the role and they need that direction, or we've got a role that has to be done in a very specific manner. Generally speaking, we don't want to use specific direction if we don't have to, but there are times when it is appropriate. The second way is coaching or collaborative or however you want to think of it, but it's kind of a shared thing. I'm going to sit down with you and I'm going to tell you what I need. We're going to get concurrence on when it should be done by. And then we're going to come to an agreement on how it should be done. So for example, maybe it's, we got to get sales revenues up by 15%, ideally by the end of the quarter. How can we do that? And then I just shut up and I let you talk, and you're going to come tell me some ideas on how you can get the sales revenues up. And I might guide you. We're going to kind of bandy it back and forth. And once we come to an agreement, then you're going to press and go get the sales revenues up. One quick tip, if you come to an agreement on the how, write it down. If you didn't write it down or you can't write it down, you haven't actually come to an agreement. So it should be great talking to you today. So we're going to increase sales revenues by 15% by the end of the quarter, and you're planning on doing it this way. And then report back to me whenever. And then the last way, of course, is delegation. And in delegation, again, I'm going to tell you what I need done. We get concurrence on the when, but I leave the how up to you. So it might be the same example as last time. I say, we got to get our sales revenues up by 15% by the end of the quarter. Is that possible? Can you do it? And then you say, well, yes, I can. And I say, great, go make it happen. Report back to me every couple of weeks on your progress. And I leave it up to you to go figure out how to actually get those sales revenues up. I don't tell you how to do it. You decide how to do it. So the difference between these three methods boils down to who retains decision authority. In specific direction and in coaching, I retain specific authority. Even in the coaching, we may come to an agreement, but you don't go and do it until you and I have agreed. So that's my decision authority. In delegation, I release decision authority to you. I let you decide how you're going to do it. So back to the question, when is it appropriate to delegate tasks? The one thing that you never, ever, 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 ever want to do, ever, is you never want to delegate a task and then pull back decision authority. If you do that, you're going to make them miserable. You're going to make yourself miserable. You're going to make the people around you miserable. So the answer to the question is, when is it appropriate to delegate, is as soon as possible, once you have the confidence that they can make it happen without you having to pull back decision authority. You never want that to happen. So answers to both those questions, what should I delegate? Everything you possibly can. Anytime you find yourself working, you should be automatically thinking, who could I delegate this to? Who could I delegate this to? When should you do it? As soon as humanly possible, but not before you have the confidence that they can do it without you having to pull back decision authority. And that should be fairly quickly. Think about it this way. If you don't have that confidence, you either got the wrong people, they have the wrong resources, or they need development. So make it happen. Hope that's helpful. Thanks.